What's up YouTube, welcome back to another video on my channel Skotrix, and today as you can see we are back not on NBA 2K22 but instead we're going to be on this chart right here ranking all of the best shooting badges in NBA 2K22 current gen and next gen. I'm going to be doing them together since the badges are the same between both gens, so it's a lot easier just to do them together. And this video is going to cover for every single position, every single build. I'll talk a little bit about why each badge is good for each build or each position and why it's not good for each build and each position, and I'll also explain why I'm putting each badge where I'm putting it. Now, if you guys don't know, earlier today I uploaded the best finishing badges and I ranked them on this tier chart as well. Now I'm doing the shooting, and tomorrow I will be doing the playmaking and the defense. So if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. But yeah, one more thing I'm going to mention is for each of these categories, I'm going to put 4 shooting badges in each category. So there's 5 categories, 4 in each of them. That'll be 20, and that will cover every shooting badge in NBA 2K22 current gen and next gen. And pretty much all of the shooting badges are good. So just because I put a badge in the B category doesn't mean it's a terrible badge or an average badge. A lot of the badges are good this year. There's not too many bad badges. It just depends a lot on your position and your build, whether you'll need a badge or not. And like I said, I will try to cover that as good as possible for every position and every build. So with all that being said, without any further ado, let's get right into the video here. Alright, so first up, the first badge we have is going to be Fade Ace, and I'm going to put Fade Ace straight into the D category. This isn't because it's a terrible badge, it's just because you will know if you need Fade Ace or not. It doesn't really need to be ranked. If you shoot a lot of post fadeaways, put on Fade Ace. If you don't shoot post fadeaways, you don't need it. And this does not help with leaning shots, so most guards will not need this. It's basically just a badge for big men who shoot post fadeaways, whether you're a post scorer or a stretch or whatever. You'll know if you need Fade Ace. Next up right here, we have Slippery Off Ball. This is also going to go straight into the D category. This is a pretty bad badge. I don't recommend it for anybody, really. The only time I would recommend Slippery Off Ball is if you're a finisher, pure finisher, and you have one shooting badge. You could put it on Slippery Off Ball because it will help you get around players easier when you're cutting to the rim off ball. But that's only for builds that absolutely cannot shoot, and I'm assuming the people who are watching this video have builds that can shoot, so you do not need to worry about Slippery Off Ball. Don't even consider putting it on. Next up right here, we have Blinders, and I'm going to put Blinders all the way up into the A category right here. I think this is one of the best badges in the game for shooting. It's really good for guards. It's even good for big men, not quite as good for big men. The difference between Blinders and Deadeye is usually Blinders is better for guards and Deadeye is better for big men, because if you're a big man, you're going to be getting closed up more from straight up from big men coming out of the paint, and if you're a guard, you're going to be getting closed out more from the side from other guards trying to chase you, whether that's off a screen or an ISO or whatever. So Blinders, very good badge for both big men and guards, but if you're a guard, you're definitely going to need it, and if you're a big man, you can probably put it on as long as you have enough shooting badges. And next up right here, we have the first S tier badge, and that's going to be Hot Zone Hunter. As long as you have hot zones, you need this badge, period. That's it. Put on Hot Zone Hunter as long as you have hot zones. Doesn't matter what your build is. None of that matters. Just put it on as long as you have hot zones. And next up right here, we have Clutch Shooter. I'm going to put Clutch Shooter down into the C category. This could even be in the D category. I don't recommend Clutch Shooter for most builds unless you have like a ton of shooting badges and you can just afford to get it. It's more of a luxury badge for players who are like maxed out sharps and they have so many badges they don't know what to put it on. Then you could consider putting it onto Clutch Shooter, but otherwise there's so many good shooting badges in the game this year. You will definitely be able to find a better badge than Clutch Shooter. And next up right here, we have the most overrated badge in 2K history, in my opinion, which is going to be Green Machine. I'm also putting Green Machine in the C category. I don't recommend putting this badge on. I've gone into this a million times in other videos from 2K21, 2K20, but Green Machine is not that good of a badge. It's not terrible, but it's not that good of a badge. Basically, you need to green 2 shots in a row for it even to activate on the 3rd shot. So you're not going to be getting any benefit from this badge until at least your 3rd shot of the game. And if you're playing Park, if you're a good player that's going to be greening consistently, you're probably only going to be taking, maybe if you're the primary shooter, like 5 or 6 shots a game. So for this badge to have any value, you would basically need to be greening every single shot, because once you miss, you have to make 2 more greens just to activate the badge again. So if you make 2 greens and then you miss a shot, then you make 2 greens again and you end the game 4 for 5, you got absolutely no benefit from this badge. It's kind of hard to explain. Like I said, I've gone into it really in depth in previous videos, but I don't think Green Machine is that good. I don't recommend it unless, just like Clutch Shooter, you have a ton of badges and you can get it as a luxury, or you shoot like 70-80% of your shots that you shoot are green and you're a high volume shooter, you're like a guard or something where you take a lot of shots every game. But 99% of the players in the 2K community aren't that good at shooting greens, so you really don't need this badge. And next up right here we have Chef. I'm putting Chef all the way up into the S tier right here. I think this is really one of the best shooting badges in the game, especially if you're a guard. If you're a big man, you could consider getting it, but it really is more of a guard badge, and it's basically essential for any guard, any ball handler. You need Chef. It's super good. Get it on as fast as possible. Next up right here we have Lucky number 7. Lucky number 7 is also going to go into the C category. This doesn't mean it's a terrible badge. I just don't recommend it for most players because a lot of the times you're not going to be shooting in the first 7 seconds of the shot clock. Sometimes you will, but most of the time you're not. And if most of the time you're not shooting in the first 7 seconds, then most of the time you're not getting any benefit from this badge. So I don't recommend it unless you have a ton of shooting badges just like these other two. There's just so many good badges. Not that this one's bad, there's just so many good ones that are better than Lucky number 7. And next up right here we have Stop and Pop. I'm going to put Stop and Pop all the way into the A category right here, up with Blinders. I really do think this is one of the better badges in the game, especially if you pair it up with Chef for any guard build. Super good. Get Stop and Pop. Not as good for big men. You probably don't need it if you're a big man, but if you're a guard, whether you're playing on ball or even off ball, guards can get this badge because sometimes when you're off ball, you catch a pass, you're not quite open, you have to take a dribble or something. It can just be a valuable badge. So Stop and Pop, a really good badge for any guard build. Definitely recommend getting it as soon as you can. And next up right here we have Deadeye. I put Deadeye into the B category, but Deadeye, like I said, is pretty much right on par with Blinders. They're both in between the A and the B. They're both really good badges. Deadeye is a little bit better for big men, and Blinders is a little bit better for guards. So if you're a big man, I definitely recommend getting Deadeye as one of your first badges after the S tier badges. And if you're a guard, I still recommend getting Deadeye. It doesn't probably have to be one of your first badges, but it still is a very good badge for really any build in the game, and I recommend it for pretty much every build because everybody has to take shots sometimes where there's a defender closing out. But next up right here we have Circus 3s, and I'm putting Circus 3s into the D category. This helps you shoot step back 3s more efficiently. It's just not that good of a badge. You shouldn't be shooting step back 3s too often, really, if at all, for most builds. So I don't recommend Circus 3s, especially when there's so many other good badges for guards to shoot 3-pointers with, standing or off the dribble or whatever. Circus 3s really just isn't it. You don't need Circus 3s. I wouldn't recommend putting it on at all. And next up right here we have Limitless Spot Up, and I'm putting Limitless Spot Up all the way into the S category. This is for sure one of the better badges in the game, especially if you're a big man. Even if you're a guard, Limitless Spot Up is super good. It's going to basically be like range extender, but only for spotting up, obviously. And if you're a big man, that's really all you should need. If you're a guard, you pair it with Chef and you will always have extremely good range on every shot that you're taking. So Limitless Spot Up, definitely a badge that you're going to want to get. It's definitely very good for every build. And next up right here we have the last S tier badge, and that is going to be Sniper. Sniper, again, super good. I recommend it for basically every single build. Get Sniper. The only way I would say don't get it is if you're just terrible at shooting and you're always messing up your jump shot release. You're never getting slightly earlies, green releases, or slightly lates. All you're getting is like early and lates, or you're getting a lot of early and lates. Then Sniper will actually hurt you. But for most players that have at least a little bit of skill in the game, Sniper is a super good badge for any shooting build. I definitely recommend getting it as one of your first badges, if not your very first badge. And next up right here we have Mismatch Expert. This goes all the way into the D category. I really don't see the point in this badge. It gives you a boost of shooting over taller defenders if you end up getting a switch. So I mean, most players in this game aren't even good enough to notice switch. They're just going to stick on whoever their arrow is on no matter what. So you're not going to get too much benefit out of this badge. And even if people are switching, you probably don't want to shoot directly over a taller defender, even if you have this badge. And if you're open, this badge won't help you and you'll probably green anyways. And I know that might be kind of confusing what I just said, but Mismatch Expert, it's really not that good of a badge. You don't need it for pretty much any build. Hopefully that's clear enough. And next up right here, we have Catch and Shoot. Catch and Shoot goes all the way up to the A category. If you're somebody who plays off ball, you need Catch and Shoot, period. Super good shooting badge. Definitely get it as soon as possible. For anybody that plays off build, big man, guard, even if you're an on-ball guard and you have a lot of shooting badges, you can definitely consider getting Catch and Shoot. And next up right here we have Corner Specialist, and I'm going to put Corner Specialist also into the A category. I think this is a super good badge for, again, anybody who plays off ball, because a lot of the times they'll end up sitting in the corner waiting for a 3-point chance or something off a Catch and Shoot, or even if you're playing on ball, a lot of the times they'll end up shooting in the corner. So Corner Specialist, very good badge right there. Definitely recommend it for pretty much any build, whether you're a big man, a guard, a wing, whatever. Corner Specialist, pretty good badge right there. And next up right here we have Volume Shooter, and I'm going to put Volume Shooter into the C category as the last badge in this category. It's an okay badge, but you do need to shoot quite a bit to have it giving you any benefits. So just keep that in mind. If you're shooting a ton, like basically every possession, then you could definitely consider investing into volume shooter. Otherwise, you probably won't need it. So you'll know if you need volume shooter or not. Basically, if you're shooting a ton, get it on. If not, don't worry about it. And next up right here, we have rhythm shooter, and I had to put rhythm shooter into the B category because the A category is already filled up with 4 badges, and I really don't want to mess up the room here. So rhythm shooter goes into the B. It's really in between the B and the A. If you're a guard, if you're an ISO guard, a guard that plays off screens, I definitely recommend getting rhythm shooter. It is a good badge, even though I'm putting it into the B category here. Like I said, could be an A category badge. Definitely recommend it for any guard. For big men, you can probably ignore it. You really won't need this badge for any big man, but for a guard, definitely going to want rhythm shooter for sure. And next up right here, we have set shooter. This is going to be a good badge for any build, or a decent badge for any build, but especially big men and guards who play off ball, or wings who play off ball, because you're going to be a lot more likely to be shooting off of a set shot than a guard who's playing on ball and who's likely going to be shooting off the dribble more. So if you're shooting as a set shooter more, get set shooter. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these shooting badges are kind of self-explanatory if you're going to need them or not. If you're shooting as a set shooter, it is a good badge and you'll definitely want to get it. If not, you can probably ignore it because you won't get any benefits from it. And last off right here, we have difficult shots. Again, a solid badge, but it's going into the B category right here because the A is already filled up. I do recommend difficult shots if you have like a playmaking shot creator or anything like that, because leaning mid-range shots are pretty good this year. They're not broken, I don't think, but they are pretty good. So you're definitely going to want difficult shots so you can make those shots as consistently as possible. If you are a play shot or whatever who takes those shots, I definitely recommend giving difficult shots a look. And that's going to be the final badge right there. 5 categories, 4 badges per category, ranking all of the best shooting badges in NBA 2K22. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe to my channel if you're new. Only 2% of people who watch my videos are actually subbed to my channel. So if you click that subscribe button right now, you can join the 2% gang. I really appreciate it. Helps out a lot. And also I stream on Twitch. My Twitch link will be down in the description below. Make sure you go follow me over there if you enjoy watching live streams. And like I said at the beginning of the video, playmaking and defense badges coming tomorrow. The finishing badges video is already out, so make sure you go check that out if you haven't already. But that's going to be it. All right, peace.